President Obama met with Senate leaders today on the eve of nuclear negotiations with Iran. The president wants the Senate to hold off on new sanctions while Iran and the West are still talking. Tomorrow's session will be held in Geneva. Let's get some insight now on Iran negotiations and sanctions and where we are. Georgia's Senator Saxby Chambliss is the vice chairman of the Intelligence Committee in the Senate. He joins us tonight. Senator, thanks for being here.
Good to be with you, Brett.
You were in that meeting today. What was your perception, perhaps your concerns about it?
Well, I went in with some concerns, and I came out with the same concerns that I had going in, because what I told the president is that, look, here we've got a group of guys who we don't trust, who wake up every day saying they want to develop a nuclear weapon to blow up one of our key allies in the world, not just in the region, and that's Israel. And yet we're willing to make concessions to them if they make some minimal concessions in their nuclear program. I just don't see how that makes sense. So what I told the president is, I said, Mr. President, if I were sitting across that negotiating table from the Iranians, I would tell them, look, I got these bunch of crazy guys in Congress who want to impose more sanctions on you, not ease up on any of the current sanctions, and unless you get on board and do what we're talking about doing relative to your nuclear program, then you're going to have to live with more sanctions, not less. The president doesn't necessarily agree with that position, but I think that's going into negotiation from a point of strength, and we're not there now.
Was it a tense meeting?
No, it was very free-flowing. The president was very straightforward, and he and Secretary Kerry talked about exactly what's on the table, and obviously we can't talk about that, but they were very straightforward in what they're thinking.
Here's how the president today characterized it publicly, this deal before the deal.
Let's test the proposition that over the next 6 months we can resolve this in a diplomatic fashion while maintaining the essential sanctions architecture, and as President of the United States, me maintaining all options to prevent them from getting nuclear weapons. I think that is a test that is worth conducting.
So your response to that, and you know there are some people on your side of the aisle who are buying into that.
Yeah, well, I am glad that the president has made it very plain publicly that all options are going to remain on the table, assuming this works out. But this is going to be for a 6-month period during which they're going to continue to try to negotiate the grand bargain on Iran nuclear weapons. I don't have a lot of confidence, number one, that that's likely to happen, particularly if we have shown a sign of we're willing to weaken the sanctions at this point in time. If we come down harder, our position would be stronger. Plus, you know, there's got to be a certain amount of trust on the part of the United States, of the Iranians, that they're really going to do what they say they're going to do. I understand that we'll have inspectors in there, but I'm just not willing to trust these guys one iota.
To that point, we asked viewers to weigh in with some questions on my Twitter account and Facebook page. Gary Posey on Facebook writes this: for several years now, we've heard that Iran could have a nuclear bomb in 12 months or so. Do we really know how close they are, or will we wake up one morning to that reality?
Well, the fact of the matter is we don't really know. There are some good educated guesses based upon our analysis of how far they've gone. We know that they've got uranium enriched to a certain level in a certain quantity. And
so what's the
Prime Minister Netanyahu, for example, said that if you reach a certain level of 20% uranium, 20% enrichment, then that is the
red line,
tipping point right there.
How far
they've reached that point.
They've
reached that point. So what we're, you know, obviously whatever happens in this negotiation, that point's going to have to be backed away from. And whether they will do that or not, I guess, is yet to be seen.
But how far to a bomb? I mean, without getting too...
Well, again, nobody knows for sure. I mean, experts have told me anywhere from 12 months to 24 months. They told me that 12 months ago, and their opinion has not changed today. It's still 12 months to 24 months.
Quickly, Senator, on the Gitmo situation, it seems like there's an effort to try to get the block of having those prisoners put into the U.S. There was efforts that failed in the Senate today. Where is the next step on Gitmo?
Well, the House has a provision in their defense authorization bill that prohibits the transfer of Guantanamo prisoners to the United States. I am fully supportive of that provision, and in conference I'm going to be doing everything I can to see that that prevails. What the president wants to do is to close Guantanamo and to take all those 164 prisoners and do something with them. He would like to send a good number of them, about 80 of them, back to their home country of Yemen. But we've sent prisoners to Yemen before, and they've re-engaged in the fight, seeking to kill and harm Americans. In fact, we know that there's about a 30%, almost 30% recidivism rate among those detainees who were released during the Bush administration and the Obama administration. I just don't think the American people want any of those individuals transferred to the United States, where they will be housed in prisons here that may be down the street from your neighborhood, and you may know it and you may not know it. But we don't need that to take place when we've got a state-of-the-art prison at Guantanamo. We have state-of-the-art medical facilities there to look after those folks. We've got a state-of-the-art courtroom where they can be tried by military tribunals. That's where they ought to stay. And you know, these are the guys that carried out 9/11. These are the most hardened terrorists. And to think for 1 minute that they ought to be brought to the United States soil, I think it's just incomprehensible.
Senator Chambliss, thank you for the time tonight.
Always good to be with you, Bret.